Tom, so finally, welcome to the Rovers and to RaithTV at last. It's good to see you in person after you initially signed your pre-contract in February. Glad to be here.
Yeah, delighted. Just obviously when I found out about the pre-contract in February, I think it was, just so happy. Obviously watching Rovers play quite a bit last season, the season before when I played against them. It's a style of play really interested me, and speaking to a gaffer, and that's how he plays. And I was just delighted to be on board basically, and looking forward to the season ahead.
Good, right. We're going to talk about what brought you to the Rovers first. Were you aware that John and Paul had been tracking you for over a year?
So I knew there was a little bit of interest in the summer, but at that point everything was done. So when I had gone back to Clyde, it was like the last day of the transfer window and whatnot. So it was too late to materialise anything at that stage. So they just said I'd keep tabs on me and whatever, and watch me a couple more times after that. And then they said to me that they'd watched me previously, which I had no idea about at games and whatnot. So yeah, it was a nice feeling knowing that they were interested. So it was just a bit extra motivation for me to go out there and impress, and you never know who's watching. And in the back of my head I was thinking this could be the game there, so just made sure I did everything when I could to potentially sign me, and luckily for me that did materialise. So yeah, it was a nice feeling, and hopefully I can justify that with my performances this season.
Great, yeah. Obviously Clyde, you spent the most amount of time in your career at Clyde. You obviously have huge affection for that club. Tell us about your time there. What were the high points with Clyde?
Winning a playoff season a couple of years back, that was great. It's quite the nice thing about Clyde, it's like quite the fans are really involved with the club. So after that game, the celebrations and everything, the fans come onto the pitch, and we had a great evening. So it's extra motivation again, playing for the fans, and just wanted to do well for the club. So yeah, it was a great time there. Danny Lennon gave me a first pathway to first team football really. Got games under my belt, and he trusted me to play week in, week out, and yeah, I loved it, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. Last year was obviously a bit more difficult with the COVID situation, everything. It was just stop start, so it was quite frustrating one last year, and not the way I wanted to leave really, without the fans being there. But listen, obviously that's football. You need to move on and progress your career sometimes, and I wish Clyde obviously all the best going for the future, and it's a team I'll always look out for. Yeah. But for me personally now, it's just about hopefully pushing on in my career.
Final question about Clyde. Very obviously, you mentioned Danny Lennon, the manager, a huge favourite when he played here in the 90s.
The goal against Bayern Munich, was it?
Words right out of my mouth.
I've heard it a few times.
Got you right, okay, yeah. And it was Oliver Kahn, and it was the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, amazing. What a feeling that must have been.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Certainly, I was there. Back to yourself though. After coming through the ranks at Birmingham City and Rangers, you've served your time in the lower leagues. You're at the Rovers now. How are you settling in so far?
Yeah, it's brilliant. So it's not the way I've wanted it to go, because I've not been trained with the boys. Obviously, I picked up a knee injury end of last season after I'd already signed here, so it was frustrating. It's just one of them. The boys have been brand new to me, the management staff, physio, sports science, everyone at the club's been brilliant to me. So it's been easy in that perspective off the pitch. Now I just can't wait to be on the pitch with them and building better relationships on the pitch. But yeah, off the pitch has been absolutely brilliant. Couldn't have asked for any more, to be honest. The boys have been so welcoming, and it's been so easy. Yeah. Really has been. So yeah. And
whilst we're before we hit record on the interview, you were telling me that you've got a planned schedule for your comeback. What phase are you at now? What stage are you at just now?
The later stages now. So I don't want to put a time on it, but I'm running with sports scientists tomorrow. So I've been running with a physio, building it up. So now we're at a stage where we're progressing nicely. So it's just about that final fitness now for a week and a half, and then hopefully back in with the boys, train every day. So yeah, we're getting there, definitely. Just so eager to be back. Obviously, sometimes you just need to cool your head and be like, right, just do it in a process, because you don't want any setbacks at this stage now. So it's just taking day by day and progressing every day, and hopefully be back sooner rather than later now.
And finally, in terms of development and the stage you're at in your career, you're back in full-time football, and you're going to be playing alongside, amongst others, Christophe Berra, Cal Benedictus. What can you learn from a former Scotland cap, Benny, who's been here 6 years,
Yeah.
RT, who played every game last season, and Liam Dick coming in, and Frankie, who's also a developing younger player like yourself.
Oh, a lot, on and off the pitch. Just watch how they live their lives, really, how they are on the pitch, how, like, what they can guide me on the pitch and off the pitch. Just try and pick up everything, really. I'm especially right this second as well, being injured, I'm trying to watch the boys as much as possible on the training pitch. See, I already know how they play, obviously, but just it's important to, when the gaffer's got the meetings, for example, taking on everything I possibly can, which is obviously important for the boys, but I think it's especially important for me right now while I'm not playing, to try and get that little bit ahead, so when I am back playing and it just comes natural to me, I know what I'm doing, I know my job. And like players like Christoph Berra, Benedictus, they're going to help me massively, hopefully. And yeah, I can't wait to be playing with them, really, and learning as much as I can, and hopefully I can have an impact on them as well. But at the same time, just always like trying to learn every day, just better myself all the time. That's what I'm here to be.
Great. Well, I also forgot to mention Dave Mackay, and we can't forget Dave.
No, Big Dave's he's a great boy. He's a good laugh.
But for the meantime, we're going to thank you, Tom, and I wish you good luck for your career at the Rovers, and good luck.
Thanks so much, I appreciate that.